안녕하세요. And thank you. That's all the Korean I know, besides 감사합니다. So you'll get that at the end. Thank you for joining this track for customer experience or collaboration. I'm going to start the session by really planning the vision of what we're doing with collaboration. And then throughout the afternoon, you're going to see a lot of other great sessions where we'll do a lot of demos so you can actually see the technology. It's a very interesting time for us. Work is changing, and work in Korea has to change. We all know the government's new laws around 52 hours of work, etc. In Korea, we also have an aging population. In Asia, we actually have an aging population, where the number of people in the workforce is actually declining. So how are we going to stay as productive? And as far as Korea is ahead of the world in many places, how are you going to keep with that innovation and how are you going to keep doing that? By 2020, we're going to have 5 generations in the workforce. How are we going to make sure that we are catering for how they want to work? Millennials are now joining the workforce. They're not like me, or CG, who have been doing this for a very long time. So when I started work, I actually didn't even have email. I got email about 2 years after I worked. The fact that 30 years later, all your companies still use email every day as your main communication method blows my mind that that's still happening. And if you think that a millennial is going to want to come out of university and come into an organization and sit in a cubicle and work on email, it's just not going to fly. We know that the whole concept globally of teams, by 2024, we're going to have teams coming together very quickly and then dissolving as they meet tasks. We know that most HR executives now saying we have to change the workforce experience. And lastly, technology matters. This new millennial workforce coming in are going to make decisions where they work on the tools they're given. So we've got to be aware of all these things when we're looking at our workforce experience. How are we going to become flexible? So companies in general, and I believe companies in Korea, need to adapt to stay competitive. And as I said, the Korean industry has been leading the world in so many ways for so long. To do that, we have to have agility. We've got to have a way that people can work and have the tools that they need to get their job done available at all times. We've got to be able to make decisions quicker and move on to the next thing. Once you do that, you start to have the ability to give that flexibility and the ease of working. You will attract and retain talent in your organization, which will become more and more important as the population ages, and obviously give you better customer engagement. There's some value drivers about changing the workplace and how you work. Some cost drivers are really a better utilization of your real estate and making a place that people want to come to work. And then we do that by modernizing an office and what it means to have an office. Because once you get to the situation where you can work from anywhere, so at Cisco, we can work from anywhere. There's nothing we can't do at home that we can do in the office. So the office no longer becomes a place you go to do work. The office becomes a place for you to collaborate and to meet people. And that's what our technology is doing. And I said last night to a group of partners, I think this is an incredible opportunity for all of us to do something really, really meaningful and actually change the work culture in Korea. Keeping the efficiency, keeping the productivity, keeping the employee engagement, but giving far more flexibility. So with that said, about $1.25 trillion has been spent on this digital transformation, and BC talked about it this morning. Yet, only 16% of companies, according to McKinsey, say they see some gains in changing how they've been working. And that's because the transformation isn't about technology. It is all about people. Everything we do in our workplace is really about the employee and how they can actually come together. And the problem is that most employees believe that they are disconnected from each other. I mean, how many apps do you have on your phone? KakaoTalk? How many of you use KakaoTalk at work? Can I have a hands? Who uses KakaoTalk at work? CG, you shouldn't. Cisco shouldn't. But the point is, you have so many apps that you use every day. And for years we've talked about this concept of bring your own device or bring your own application to work. And that's never been more apparent now. So if you consider, everyone feels disconnected because you're saying, we'll use email for this. I'm going to talk to you on KakaoTalk here, and it's not compliant, and there's no audit trail or all those things. I'm going to use some other bit of technology here. It's very, very hard. So I would say, as an industry, we have failed. So, as I mentioned, I actually have been doing this job, selling this stuff for 31 years. So 31 years ago, I was selling technology that I thought would improve the way you worked. In 2001 was the first time I came to Korea. So I've been 18 years in Korea talking about how technology is going to improve how people work. The problem is, we went and sold to an IT department, and the IT department bought the technology, and they put it in the corner of the room and said, you must use this. And guess what? It doesn't work that way. We need to make it so people want to work, and the technology we're giving is enhancing the way they work. So we believe now we want technology to adapt to the way people work themselves. So we have this high-level plan of what we're trying to do. Number one, and if you've heard from us any time in the last 5 years, you would have heard this, experience is the number one thing. As I mentioned, I know you've all got one of these, a Samsung most likely, in front of you on the desk, in your pocket, and you can do pretty much everything on this device. It's the first thing you look at when you wake up in the morning, and it's the last thing you say goodnight to at night. So what are we giving you or your employees that is incremental to that? How can we make this a key part of everything you do? So with Cisco technology, and you'll see throughout the day, this actually becomes your identity in the organization. So when I walk into a room, these systems know I'm here because I have this device with me. And I'll demonstrate that later, but you'll see it in great detail. Every one of our systems, as long as I have a device with a microphone, it knows I'm standing next to it and I can make decisions based on that. So I don't have to be scared of this device. I use the device I know and love. I hit a button and I join the call from that. At the same time, think of those 5 generations. We want all generations to have an experience that they are comfortable with. And we think we've got to that point, and you'll see that when we do more demonstrations. Bridges, not islands, is about making sure that we give you the best opportunity to have the highest interaction you can with anyone you're working with. We would like to believe that everyone buys everything from Cisco, but we know that's not the case. And it's very rare now that you would only work within your company. So if I want to talk to a partner of mine or a developer, and they don't have my technology, what do? Just go back to KakaoTalk, or do I make a phone call? How do I actually get that going? So we've made a big point that we want to protect the investments you have. So if you have video systems from Polycom, if you're using Microsoft, we want to ensure that when we talk across those companies, you actually all be able to use the best technology you have. And we really have done that. If I want to have a video call with someone on a Polycom system or Microsoft or Skype for Business, I give them a bridge. We can all connect together and use the device which is best for us. At the same time, we understand there is different players in your ecosystem. So for example, if you are using Office 365 for your email, for Word, for PowerPoint, for Excel, for SharePoint, for OneDrive, that everything we do integrates with that. And I would challenge you all, if you wanted to see our integrations with our teaming solution with Microsoft's productivity suite is better than theirs. And if you want to try it, go and try that. We integrate better than they do. At Cisco, we use Office 365 for desktop productivity and all of Cisco collaboration for our real-time communication, and it works seamlessly. And you can come and see that anytime right next door here at our office. From a security point of view, I know that moving to the cloud is something that's going to take some time in Korea. I mean, many customers are moving to O365 in the cloud. But how we consume our technology moving to the cloud, there are worries about the reliability and security of that. We have spent a lot of money and a lot on time of getting this right. We are the only end-to-end encrypted cross-company collaboration platform in the market. No one is end-to-end encrypted except us. We let you hold the encryption key. One other company lets you do that. So if you want security, we are by far the secure, and we will work with any of your security departments to prove that as well. You come up with any other vendor, we are more secure in this space, and that's a guarantee. And lastly, I kind of hit this. It's cloud first, not cloud only. We are not forcing you to go to the cloud. A lot of our technology gets a few more features when you get to the cloud, but you are free to deploy on-premise or in the cloud or any version of that. So you might want to put a small department getting their services from the cloud. We can do that. When you buy a license from Cisco, that license works on-premise and in the cloud, and you can move between them. And if you are an existing Cisco customer and you are on-prem, and let's say you're using our IAM and Presence tool, Jabber, we've continued to develop that. So unlike other people in the market, we are not telling you to rip and replace anything. If you like your on-prem solution from Cisco, we have updated to look exactly like our cloud version. They talk to each other. If you want persistent messaging in that tool, you can do that now. So your path is built out for you. No rip and replace. It's at your pace. So they're the kind of 4 key things that we have tried to get to, and hopefully when you kind of go through everything you see here today, it'll make a lot of sense how those things come together. This is all possible, and this is my most complicated architecture slide. It comes together because we actually have one platform. So I think most of you would have known Cisco Webex was our meetings platform, which we acquired in, I think, 2009. It's the world leader. Webex was the world leader in web meetings and still is. Everything we have now is named Cisco Webex. The devices are called Cisco Webex devices. This is a Cisco Webex board. But it's not just a naming thing. Everything is on the one single platform. So devices, phones, the messaging, the directory, the calendaring, your single sign-on, the clients themselves, everything is on a single platform. Once again, no one does that. So what does that mean for you? We have a tool called Webex Teams, which I will talk about, and you will see that later on. So think of it as KakaoTalk for business. If I spend all my time talking to Ryan, so Ryan's sitting in the front row here. If I do all my messages to Ryan, once again, I don't really use email at work anymore. Every message I get is through Webex Teams. That's how we talk. If I want to call Ryan, I use Webex Teams. And I'll talk a bit more about that. If I walk up to one of these systems and say, and we'll demonstrate this later, okay, Webex, call Ryan, it doesn't go, oh, there's 5,000 Ryans at Cisco, which one do you want? It goes, I know that you always message this Ryan, so that's the Ryan I'm going to give you. Would you like to call Ryan Kim? And with Ryan's face. Because everything is integrated together. No one does that. especially when you go to the next level of the physical and the virtual. So I kind of mentioned, from the virtual side, we have an application called Webex Teams, which you'll see outside and we'll demonstrate later, which allows us to do everything from our laptop, be it a Mac, be it a Samsung phone, tablet, Apple phone, anything in the market. We have an application which does every workload that I need to do. So if I want to make a call, that's the app I use. If I want to join a meeting, that's the app I use. If I want to do a video call, that's the app I use. If I want a whiteboard, if I want to share a file with Ryan, that's the app I use. If I want to pull that file from OneDrive or from SharePoint, that's the app I use. If I want to edit a document in SharePoint with Ryan, that's the app I use. So if I want to ring Ryan, I hit this button. If I happen to be next to a video device, it knows I'm next to the video device and it will call from that device so I get the best experience. When Ryan gets that phone call, he can cancel on his mobile phone and we will do video and screen sharing. If he happens to be within proximity of a larger system, the call will go there. So everything is always elevated. So that virtual world where we can do anything exists in our phone, in the cloud, on our laptop. But we also have a physical world. And this is the difference, and this is what enables you to change a workplace, is that this device and those devices and that app all work together. So it's the blending of that physical and virtual which allows you to change. So if you look at the physical spaces themselves, this is a meeting room that is like many, many meeting rooms in Korea, many, many meeting rooms across the world. What is it? Terrible. This is a terrible meeting room. The amount of expense in this room is mind-blowing. You have a projector on the roof that is expensive. When the bulb blows, it's expensive to replace. How many times you've seen people standing on a chair or a table or with a broomstick trying to turn it on or off and make it work? You have a whiteboard which people write on and then it's lost. They might take a photo and send it to each other in Kakao Talk and then they lose it. You have a flip chart. People write on. They fold it up. Does anyone ever keep that? No. On the table you have an analog speakerphone. Now we still sell analog speakerphones and if you want to buy one from us, that's fine. But you don't need a speakerphone when you have a video system in the corner. Why do you need the speakerphone? You had that video in the corner because everyone's too scared to use it. It's got a complicated remote control and no one really knows what to do or how to dial anyone. You've got a screen that comes down with a remote control and audio system. You've got 3 remote controls that no one can ever find and the batteries always run out of. So this room has so much technology, so much expense that you are putting into it, and nothing works together. Nothing. We can replace all of that, and this isn't made up. We can replace all of that with one device. And once again, Cisco Office next door has been completely redone, and you will go into every meeting room, and this is what it will look like. You will not see a projector. You will not see a whiteboard. You will not see a flip chart. You will not see a speakerphone. You will not see a Crestron device to control the blinds. It's all one device. So in this case, it's a Webex board. So the Webex board, as I said, we'll do lots of demonstrations later. If I want to share my laptop, it knows I'm in the room because I have a microphone on my laptop. I walk in, I don't pair, I walk in, I open my laptop, I press a button, don't have to pair with it, and I share my screen there. If I want to do a video call from my phone on my laptop, I hit a button and it will launch the call from there and I do video calling. If I want to do a whiteboard, I walk up to it and I draw. It knows it's me. I don't have to log into it. And it also knows everyone else in the room. So we're all in this room together. I walk up and draw a lap. As long as you have the Webex Team app running on your phone, it knows you're in the room, which saves us all a copy, which is a real-time live document that we can edit and re-edit anywhere we want. If we want to do an audio call, this device has an array of microphones. That means when I'm talking, it's like I'm wearing a lapel mic. I don't need to have a mic on the floor or on the desk or anything like that. I can do an audio call from there if I want to. If I want to do sticky notes, everything can be done by that device, and it costs less than everything that was in that room. What actually means is you've got the technology in there, but everything is tied together. The virtual world of the app and that tie together to give an amazing experience. So we do have a video device for every space. So you see on the stage with me today, and once again you'll see these demoed in full later. This is a Room 70, a 70-inch video system. We have an 85-inch Webex board over here. Out in the demo area, you will see I think another room 70, room 55, and we have our integration kits. So our kits allow you to enable any screen, and I'll talk a little bit more about this, to be video enabled. But just remember, every one of our video endpoints on this screen is AI ready. They all have the same chip that's in a self-driving car. We moved deliberately from the pan, tilt, zoom camera to a fixed lens camera for a reason. We want to see the full room. So with any of these devices, you walk into a room, it sees the whole space, it automatically frames you. It actually does facial recognition so it knows who you are. It actually counts the people in the room, so at any time you know the occupancy of the room. All of them seamlessly wirelessly pair via Webex Teams just by you being in the room. No Bluetooth, no complicated login, it knows you're there. Every one of these devices. So you think how we used to approach video. Let's say we wanted to have a meeting between Seoul and Bunsan. We normally would have had a video system in each place, and because everyone thought they were expensive. You can video enable every space now. And as I mentioned, we have great partnership with Samsung. So you can actually just get a small huddle space with a Samsung screen, put a Room Kit Mini on, which you can see outside, which becomes this now AI-enabled video endpoint. Out of the box, it works and ties together. When the video system turns on, the screen turns on. You get all the great skill, a fully integrated unit. With the Webex Flip as well, you can now add a Webex Mini to a Webex Flip, so you can actually do whiteboarding between two locations with the Samsung Flip and the Webex Room Kit as well. We do that with Samsung. We've also done that with LG. So we have a seamless user experience. Once again, when the unit turns on, the system turns on, and it is a very integrated experience with both. So if you already have screens in your office and you don't want to get a full unit from Cisco, you can get the same technology and experience by just adding a room kit, and we have them for all sizes of rooms, from the smallest to the largest room. With that, I want to actually introduce something new to you. This is called the Desk Pro. We see this as our instant office. So what it is, you'll see we still have our desk system called a DX. This is slightly larger, so it's a 27-inch screen, 4K display, non-glare, so it can be your primary monitor. USB-Cs to power your laptop, can actually control your laptop. So I can plug my laptop in here and make it a touch screen to control my laptop. But with that, what I'd like to do actually is show you an example of how the experience is this from the far end. So I'm actually just going to call one of my colleagues in Norway who uses one of these devices. So I'm just going to, as we showed before, I've got a meeting on my phone, which is that easy. I just hit the green button on my phone. It knows I'm standing next to that system, and it's going to launch a call from there. I don't have to touch that system. Hi, Anne-Marie.
Hi, Steve. How are you? Good to see all of you guys.
Hey, say hi. I want you all to know Anne-Marie is in Oslo, Norway. It is 5:25 a.m. in the morning. She got up especially to do this for you. It's cold there, colder than here now as well. But Anne-Marie, you're on a new Desk Pro, Instant Office. I know you use it all the time and you're an expert, so can you explain how it works?
Yeah, of course I can. So super happy to see all of you guys and welcome to Norway, first of all. So my name is Anne-Marie and I am joining from that Desk Pro. And the new features that we have on this device is really, really cool, right? And one of my favorite parts is the camera. Of course, it's intelligent, so it has all of those great cognitive features like the rest of the portfolio with name labels and all of that. But it's also automatic as well. So if I had been sitting down for a couple of hours now, maybe I wanted to just get up and stretch my legs. The great thing is that the camera actually follows me. So no need for me to manually go ahead and change the camera. It does that for me. So super, super convenient. And of course, if I sit down as well, it will also follow me. Or if I just slide down in my chair, let's say for a boring meeting or something like that, the camera would follow me there as well, which is really cool.
And so as what Anne-Marie just showed there, you consider how many times you're on a video call where the person's head's at the bottom and they've got the bar and you can't see them. This makes it idiot-proof, correct, Anne-Marie? Idiot-proof.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah, that's a good term. It does. But we've added a couple of cool other features as well that we're still playing with, but I wanted to give you guys a little teaser to how this would look like. And right now I'm joining from home, right? The only cable I've connected to my Desk Pro is the power, by the way. I'm using the Wi-Fi here in my apartment. But let's say I had a really, really messy background, right? Or maybe I was in an office where I had something confidential in my background. I can actually blur that out for you guys. So I can hit the blur background option here and you're not able to see what I have in my background, which is really cool. Yeah, I really like this feature as well, but it doesn't really stop there. We could change it even more. So let's say I wanted to join from somewhere else, right? I can change my background completely and I can now look professional in any meetings, right? So it is really an instant office that I have here.
Thank you so much, Anne-Marie.
Thank you, guys.
See ya. 감사합니다.
Bye.
And now I can just say, okay, Webex. Okay, Webex. Can't hang up the call. Ooh. I didn't do that well.
I'm not able to access personal calendars.
Bye.
However, this room is available for the rest of the day.
Well, that's a good feature. Okay, Webex. Cancel.
Sure.
Okay, Webex, hang up. Okay, Webex, hang up. Hang up? There's too many people in the room.
I'm not sure how to help with that.
Thank you. Anyway, so you can see from that, we're just trying to make everything easier for you to deploy. Because there's one thing worse than no video, and that's really bad video. When you have a room where you can't see the people, what is the point? You're spending money on the bandwidth and you can't see. Everything we're doing is trying to make things very intelligent. The new Desk Pro, as we said, it can be a primary screen. You can now do co-editing and whiteboarding from your desktop. When on a video call, you can actually use a separate display, so just use the Desk Pro for video and have a separate display. It has directional audio, so if you're talking from this side, it'll come from this side. And you can control your laptop just by touch from here as well. So we pretty much now have a solution for every workplace and every work style. And I said this at the very beginning, once you make it the ability to work from anywhere, the office doesn't become a place you go to work, it becomes a place to collaborate. And I don't want to inundate CG and the team, but all this has come, none of this is fake, none of this is canned. You can see every part of this live at the Cisco office next door. If you ever want to organise a trip there, you'll find that the technology is pervasive and available right across. It's the same technology to connect local and virtual teams. We can meet, share, we can co-share. It's really easy to manage, and it's one system. So once you get to this, the virtual and the physical together, you don't need to have a desk. You don't need to have an office. Once again, if you go to the new Cisco office next door, you will find that BC does not have an office. He sits at a desk like anyone else. When he gets one, he finds where he wants to sit in that day to suit the work he's doing. If he has a confidential call, he walks into a room, the system knows he's entered, and he just hits the green button on his phone and that system fires up. Once you see it work, everything starts to change. And you build an environment that people want to come through. We just did a Singapore office. We now have 40%, because we can work from anywhere, we have now 40% more people come to work because of the environment, and they can meet and work with people. It's a huge opportunity for us all, and it's an opportunity that we don't expect you all to jump to the end game. As I said, please experience it. We'll organise how to experience the Cisco office. But that's like the end game. That's what we call cognitive collaboration, where the systems know where we enter a room and we can actually do things by speech, obviously better than I did there. But it's all at your own speed. We started with IP and telephony in 2000, and we've kind of gone on this evolution. But if you're still looking at IP telephony now, you can take small steps, like move to the mobility, being able to work from anywhere, and then start to build everything we do into the applications. So there's no right or wrong place on this journey, but I go back to what I said at the beginning. I think at this time in Korea, we have an opportunity to make a big impact into the lives of people, how they work, and how we keep Korea ahead of everyone else in terms of their innovation and productivity. So with that, I'd say kamsahamnida, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the day.